In this video, we're going to be using Madden content and NFL film in order to break down 3 real-life concepts you can use to beat a cover 4 defense. Before we get started, a quick message. Welcome back to XP Camps. We educate the next generation of athletes about sports through gaming. If you enjoy this style of content and want to support us, the best thing you can do is check out our courses over at xpcamps.com. We break down over 200 real-life football concepts in Madden so that you can become a better, smarter, safer football player, guaranteed. Now, let's jump back into the video. The first thing you could do is widen out the quarter flat defender in this coverage. The quarter flat defender is the one that's going to be in the purple zone. If you're having trouble understanding how a cover 4 coverage works, you're going to want to check out my last video where I break down everything you need to know about zone coverages. So the 2 routes that we're going to need to widen out this defender are going to be on the left side of my screen. The inside receiver is going to be running a flat route and the outside receiver is going to be running a slant route. So let's jump into replay mode and see why this works. Alright, so here we are in replay mode. Now the defender we're looking to attack is going to be number 25 right here, Nixon. So part of Nixon's responsibilities is to cover the flat, which is all of the short passes between the numbers and the sidelines over here. And so what we want to do is widen out this defender and take him out of the play. And how we're going to do that is with the flat route from Darnell Mooney. So when Darnell Mooney runs this flat, number 25 Nixon is going to start shuffling over and respect that route and pick up Mooney here in the flat. Now the reason number 25 is doing this is because a lot of the big plays that defenses give up in football is up the sidelines. So if you're Nixon, you don't want the offense to get an easy dump off in the flat where Mooney can catch it and turn up the sideline and get a big gain. So number 25 Nixon is going to widen out, shuffle out here, and respect the flat and make sure we don't get an easy dump off to Mooney. And what that sets up on the backside is this slant route by our outside receiver DJ Moore. So we actually covered the same exact concept and our 3 real life concepts to beat a cover 3 defense. So again, a lot of these concepts can be used across multiple defenses. But as you can see, once number 25 starts getting widened out, what we do is we replace and have DJ Moore slide right in behind number 25 where his responsibility just was. So if we let number 25 camp out and hang out in between the numbers and the hash marks here, he's going to be in a perfect spot to defend this pass. And so that's why we need Darnell Mooney to widen this defender out so that DJ Moore can replace and sneak in right behind him. And one thing I want to highlight really quick on the quarterback's end is we want to throw this pass with anticipation. So as you can see right now, these 2 defenders, if we look at it from the quarterback's point of view, these 2 players are directly in a line with each other. So it doesn't look like DJ Moore is open, but as you can see from Justin Fields, he's already getting into his throwing motion. So we're going to throw with anticipation here. And it's a lot like our seam video if you were able to watch that video where we said if he's even, he's leaving. So they're even right now. So we're going to throw with anticipation and throw DJ Moore into the open space so that he can catch the ball and turn upfield and run. If we were to release the ball and start throwing it when it's right here, you're most likely going to pass lead him either into number 7 or maybe one of these defenders over the top like Darnell Savage who has a lot of speed. So we want to throw with anticipation and throw into this open green grass rather than waiting for DJ Moore to be open. We throw him open and he's able to catch it, run upfield, and make a pretty sizable gain. Now, one other thing that I'll highlight when I jump back into replay mode, I'll reset this play back up so you can see, but we don't always have to run this slant route. Another option that we could do is run an in route where we're widening out that defender, and again, we're throwing that in route right into that open space. Now, it's a bit harder to get a catch and run scenario like you do with the slant. So that's really the one big benefit of running the slant over the in route is when you run the slant, it's a bit easier to get yards after the catch where he can catch it and run upfield versus that in route where he caught it and was stopped right away. So that's really the benefit, but either route would work where you're just kind of replacing and filling in where number 25 just was. But this is what the concept looks like. Let's jump into some real NFL film where we could see this concept used in week 17. Okay, so in this section, I'm going to show you real life NFL footage showing the concepts that I'm breaking down for you in Madden. So this clip is going to be from the Dolphins and Ravens week 17 matchup where the Ravens came out on top top and scored 56 points on the Dolphins. Now this clip is actually from the Dolphins offense. And so as you can see right now, there's a couple of things that we could recognize right off the bat. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 deep defenders on the field. We have our 3 underneath defenders, and then we have our 4 down linemen. So a pretty obvious tell that this is going to be a cover 4 coverage. But as we go through and watch this some more, a couple players I want you guys to pay attention to. The first 2 is going to be A-Chain right here, the running back, and then we have Tyreek Hill at the top of the screen here as well. And the defender that we're going to be attacking is going to be number 6 right here, the outside linebacker, Patrick Queen. He's going to be the defender that's in that quarter flat that we're going to try to widen out and bring towards the sideline. And so if we continue the film here, you can see at the snap of the ball, A-Chain is going to motion out and then run into the flat and bring Patrick Queen with him. So we snap it, we widen out, and then I'm going to pause it right here really quick so you can see. So we have Patrick Queen perfectly. He's going to have to widen out and respect A-Chain. A-Chain is a fast and explosive player who's had a ton of big plays this year for the Dolphins offense. So Patrick Queen needs to widen out and respect him, because if you're able to check it down to A-Chain in the flat and give him room to work up the sideline, he's hurt a ton of teams this year doing that. So Patrick Queen has to widen out and respect that. And then I'm going to back up just a couple seconds so now we can focus on Tyreek Hill. So now, as we see, the flat widens out this defender, and then if we pay attention to Tyreek Hill here at the top of the screen, he's just going to run upfield and then fill in right behind Patrick Queen. And you could even see with Tua, he's throwing with a ton of anticipation where Patrick Queen and Tyreek Hill, when he starts this throw, if we back up just a second, to look, so Tyreek Hill is running and filling in right behind Patrick Queen. And look at where Tua starts his throw. From his point of view, Tyreek Hill and Patrick Queen are dead even, but Tua's throwing with a ton of anticipation here, where he's throwing into this open green grass area on the field, and he's throwing Tyreek Hill open. He's not waiting for Tyreek to break into the green grass. He's going to throw it there and then trust that Tyreek Hill is going to get there, get to the spot, and make the catch. But this is exactly how this would look like in real life. You have a fast receiver out here widening out this defender, and then you have Tyreek Hill replacing and sneaking in right behind Patrick Queen. And then if we let this footage roll, it's an easy catch, first down for the Dolphins. One of the good plays that they actually had in this game, despite the fact that they lost. And then if we look from the next angle, we could see it from the front view. Same play. If I were to pause it right here really quick, we have Patrick Queen. This is the defender that we're going to be widening out. He's going to be widened out by A-Chain, who's running down in the flat. And so once you understand these concepts, you could really mix in a lot of ways to get to this concept. So when I showed you it, I had a slot receiver running into the flat. But in this example, they have the running back running into the flat. However, you can occupy that space close to the line of scrimmage and widen out this defender. It's all the same once you understand how these concepts work. Then you could give a lot of different looks to get the same result. So we're going to just let it run here so you guys can see it from this angle. A-Chain gets motioned out. Patrick Queen widens out. And that's where Tua's looking the whole time. Throws it right into that open space. Maybe a little bit behind Tyreek, but he's protecting his receiver a bit. And it's an easy catch for a first down. So this is what this concept would look like when it's ran in real life. The second thing we could do is put a high-low read on the field to attack this coverage. Now, how you're going to want to do that is with our 2 inside receivers here. So as you can see, we have the tight end A, Cole Kmet, running a drag route. And then on the opposite side of the formation in the slot, we have Darnell Mooney Y running that deep in route. And so this is a concept we've covered before. This is a shallow crossing concept, but I wanted to cover it again as this is a great way to attack this coverage. So I'm going to snap the ball, show you what it looks like, and then we're going to go into replay mode and break it down. So I'm going to snap the ball. We're going to read that middle of the defense. Wide open, easy catch. I think that's about a 14-yard gain. So let's jump into replay mode and see why that worked. So the defender we're looking to attack in this coverage is going to be this middle linebacker, number 59. And if you remember, in a cover 4 coverage, you're going to have 4 deep defenders on the field. So you have this cornerback, these 2 deep safeties, and then the cornerback on the opposite side of the formation. And then you're going to have 3 underneath defenders, which is going to be number 91 right here off the edge covering the flat, number 59, and then number 7, which we saw from the last section. So number 59's responsibility is he's defending all of the short and intermediate throws thrown over the middle of the field. He's going to be helping these two deep safeties out. They're going to have all of the deep passes thrown over the middle of the field, and he's going to have all of the short passes. So because there's 4 deep defenders and 3 short defenders, a great way to attack this coverage is with short and intermediate routes thrown towards the middle, or just shallower routes on the field, since there's only 3 defenders defending short and 4 defenders defending deep. So with this middle linebacker, what we're trying to do, like I said, is get him a high-low read. And so we're going to run this tight end across his face. And if this is open and number 59 is just camping in the middle of the field, this is going to be your first read, is just throw it down here to this tight end, let him catch it and pick up some yardage, try to beat this defender one-on-one. But as you can see, number 59, the middle linebacker, comes down and actually picks up number 85. And what's developing on the backside is a wide open throwing lane for this deep dig. And so that's the read we're making. We're basically having this drag run across his face, and then we're going to be sneaking this deep dig route behind him. And if I were to zoom out and show you, you can already see there's a ton of green grass behind the linebacker, but beneath those deep safeties. So you wouldn't really want to run a drag with a post route with Mooney, because that post route is going to run straight into those deep defenders. Rather, you'd want to run this deep in route where now we have all of this green grass, and as you can see, at the break, we're already getting rid of the ball, and we're throwing Darnell Mooney into that open space where he can make, I believe this is a 14-yard catch, but a pretty sizable gain. But this is the read that we're going to be making here. If number 59 stays disciplined and just continues to sink, they're most likely going to be taking away this route, and we would just dump it off to Cole Kmet on the drag. But that's not what happens here. He ends up stepping up, and we end up throwing right behind. So it's kind of similar to the widening concept we just looked at in the last section, where we're trying to get this guy, this defender, to come with the drag route or the flat route or the route that's running across their face. And if they do run with that route, we're sneaking in a route right behind to replace where that responsibility is. Or if this guy stays disciplined and drops back, then we're just throwing to the check down route, which is either the drag or the flat route like in our last example. But this is what it would look like. And so all you need to set this play up is 2 receivers on the opposite side of the formation, preferably your inside receivers. So as you can see, this is the play right here. We could audible Kmet or hot route Kmet down into a drag route, which is right down on the right stick. And then we can hot route Mooney into that in route, which is, at first you're going to do right on the left stick, and then you're going to want to smart route that with the RB button, and that's how you get more depth on that route. And then for me personally, all I did extra was put that B route, Equinemius St. Brown, on a flat route, just so it doesn't get too jumbled up in the middle of the field. But then when you snap it, that's how you would set up that shallow crossing, where it's just wide open in the middle of the field. And that's how you could put a high-low read on the field to attack it. Now, this is just one of many short and intermediate passing concepts that you could do against this coverage, because as you can see, there's a lot of open grass with only 3 underneath defenders. But that's how you do the high-low read. Let's jump into our third section. The last thing we could do is attack the open space in this coverage. In a cover 4 coverage, the open space on the field is going to be just above the quarter flat, but just below the deep zone on the outside part of the field. And so how we're going to do that is using this concept right here, as you can see on the right side of my screen. Now this is exciting because this is the first time on this channel that we've covered a 3-route concept. Typically in the past we've only done 2-route concepts or 1-route concepts that attack the open space. But in this section we're going to do a 3-route concept. So this concept is called a flood concept. You're going to have a streak, a corner route, and a flat on the field, as you can see with B, A, and RB. So I'm going to run this play for you, and then we're going to jump into replay mode and see why this works. I'll snap the ball really quick, step up, and deliver a strike, and that was perfect. So let's jump into replay mode and see why this worked. Alright, so here we are in replay mode. Now the first thing we want to do is attack Nixon, which is our quarter flat defender. And the way that we're going to do that is pretty similar to our first section where we widen out the defender. So we're going to have Darnell Mooney here running a flat route. And the purpose of Darnell Mooney, yes, it flattens out Nixon like it does in our first section, but it also kind of takes Nixon out of the play and it has him crashing down into the flat. And it's setting up a throwing lane that we're going to show later in this section. But Nixon's going to widen out and stick with Darnell Mooney in the flat because he's defending all of the short and intermediate routes. So he wants to make sure we don't get that easy dump off in the flat. And then the second route I'll highlight is with Equanimous St. Brown, and he's going to be running our clear route. So all he's going to be doing is running a streak, and all he wants to do is take these two deep defenders with him and make them respect the fact that he's trying to beat them over the top. And it kind of puts them in an uncomfortable situation because what 34 would typically do if this was like a quarters where they're matching up is typically 34 would take the inside receiver. So number 34 would actually be picking up Cole Kmet typically and coming out here. But it's kind of hard to do that because if 34 crashes down to take Cole Kmet, number 19 has so much inside leverage on Jair Alexander, the outside cornerback, that we could just pass lead to the inside and get an easy gain with number 19. But all number 19 is trying to do in this scenario is take these two deep defenders, make them respect him. He's kind of splitting the difference so that if 34 breaks off, he could leverage the inside leverage. If 23 crashes down to pick up Cole Kmet, he could just use the outside leverage. And so he's kind of in a great spot right here where he's taking these two deep defenders away. But what this is setting up with St. Brown and with Darnell Mooney is with him taking away the quarter flat, this purple defender, and number 19 pushing both of these deep defenders vertically, it's creating this massive throwing lane where if we zoom out here, you could see we have all this green grass in between these three defenders where Cole Kmet could come into with this corner route and make a big play as you saw in the play before we jumped into replay mode. Now, ideally, Cole Kmet ran this a little deep. You see how much green grass we had? I would like for him to break it off a little bit shorter just so that we have enough cushion where number 23 can't jump in, because this was kind of a close call right here, how close number 23 was to breaking this pass up. So ideally, we would like Cole Kmet to run a bit of a shallower corner route, but this is how this flood concept would work. You have the clear out route, clearing out these deep defenders. You have the flat route, taking out this quarter flat defender, and then you have either a deep out route or a corner route occupying this space towards the sideline where they're just going to fill in and have an easy catch. Now this works well against a cover 4. This also works well against a cover 3. It just depends on which coverage you're going to be seeing, but it works well against both, and it's another one of those concepts that works well against multiple coverages. I would argue this even works well against a cover 2 coverage because that flat would take out the flat defender, the streak would take out the deep half, and then you have that open zone right above that flat defender for a cover 2. But this is how a flood concept would work. And then if we were to hot route right here and do an out route instead of a corner route, you could see it works the same. And if anything, we probably have a lot more room to throw into where Cole Kmet could catch the ball and turn up field. But this is how the flood concept would essentially work. Even if we were to do a smart route where we could make that corner route a bit more shallow, it works all the same, even though we overthrew it a little bit there. But this is how the flood concept would work. You're just trying to create space on the field so that that intermediate route that's right above the quarter zone could be wide open. But this is how you'd run a flood concept against a cover 4 coverage. Alright, so in this clip, we're going to be breaking down the Week 17 game between the 49ers and the Commanders. In this clip specifically, the 49ers do a great job of executing a flood concept against the Commanders defense, so we're going to break it down for you. So I'm going to hit play. The 3 receivers I want you to focus on right now are going to be the 3 receivers at the bottom side of our screen. So we have Debo, who just came over in motion, Ayuk, and I believe this is Ronnie Bell at the bottom of our screen, but I could be wrong. And so we're going to click play here, and the first person we're going to focus on is number 10, who's going to be at the bottom of our screen. They're going to be the player occupying the flat. So if you remember from our video, Darnell Mooney just ran a straight up flat route to occupy that space close to the line of scrimmage. Well, number 10 is going to do something a bit different. They're going to run a zig route or a whip route, however you remember the name of this route, but he's going to act like he's running a slant, and then he's going to break it off and break back towards the sideline and run that little zig whip route right here. And the purpose of this route, remember, is to make this player do exactly what they just did. So if we were to pay attention to this defender right here, we're trying to make sure that they don't sink back and take away this Ayuk route. We want them to come up to the flat and defend number 10. So with this whip route, read this defender right here. They start breaking forward on this route, and that's perfect. That's exactly what we want, because then it starts opening up this window right here for Ayuk to run through. So even though it wasn't just the traditional flat route, as long as you understand how these concepts function, you can give a lot of different looks to get the same result. So instead of just running a simple flat route right out there, you could run a little zig route and it occupies the same space on the field. So that's the first route on the field. Then if we were to look at the second route here is going to be ran by Debo, number 19. Debo's going to be who Equanimous St. Brown was in our example. He's going to be the clear out route. So it's a little bit interesting. He's going to be running the clear out from the slot, and he's going to be doing something a little bit different than St. Brown. St. Brown just ran straight forward and tried to take out the deep defenders. Well, Debo's going to actually run a bit more of a slot fade route because he's trying to take number 26 out of the play. So at the snap, Debo's lined up pretty close to the logo. And then when you snap the ball, he takes a couple steps forward, and then he just starts drifting towards the sidelines. And so now he went from a couple steps away from the logo to now he's all the way out here by the numbers. So he's just gradually fading and running straight up the sideline and getting number 26 here to respect him and sync with him. If number 26 were to cheat and jump down and pick up this Ayuk route in this open space, then Debo should be wide open for a big gain downfield. But instead, Debo takes number 26 with him and further opens up this pocket for Ayuk to run through and catch the ball. So interesting design. Again, once you understand what the purpose of these concepts are supposed to do, there's a ton of different variety and looks that you can give to accomplish the same thing. So here they ran a zig and a fade route rather than just a flat and a streak, but it accomplishes the same thing. And so if we were to go back to the start of the play one more time, we could take a look at Ayuk, who this play is designed for. So we have Ayuk right here lined up on the inside in the slot, and he's going to run an out route. So we ran a corner route, he runs an out route. Again, as long as you understand what these concepts are trying to do, there's a lot of different variety you can use to get the same results. But then we have Ayuk here, who's going to be running, and he's going to take a look to find where that green grass is. You can see his eyes are right here. He's not looking back for the football just yet. He's looking for where's the open space that I can break into so that Purdy can throw it to me. And he breaks right here, and he has all of this open green grass where Purdy can now throw the ball into, deliver a strike, and pick up a big first down. And so this is what this flood concept looks like when it's executed in real life. Again, you have the flat, the clear out route, and then you have that receiver who's going to be running into the open space in between those players. And then lastly, I'll just let you see what it looks like from the end zone cam or this back shot right here where Purdy's going to get the snap. He's going to wait for the play to develop, and then I'll just pause it really quick right here so you guys can see this is what it looks like from Purdy's point of view. You just have all of this open green grass area on the field to throw the ball into, and Purdy delivers a strike for a big first down. And executing plays like this is part of the reason why the 49ers have been so great this year and why they won this football game. But this is what it looks like to execute a flood concept in real life.